legs are bent. Your feet are hip distance apart. Pressing evenly down with both feet across the balls and the heels, slight lift of the arch. Arms relaxed by your side. I'm going to start off with some deep breathing. So take a deep inhale, the belly naturally rises, don't force it to rise. And exhale, let it go. And inhale, belly rises. And exhale, let it go. And inhale, belly rises. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, belly rises, you're going to hold that. We're going to do a pelvic floor activation. So go to the base of your trunk. Imagine you're going in a lift on the ground floor, you close the door. So you draw in from both sides towards the midline. And then you go up the lift. So you draw in and up through that midline of the trunk as you exhale. Try not to squeeze your butt. Try not to move your hips. Focus on the pelvic floor, the feeling that you're stopping yourself doing a wee. So let's do that again. Take an inhale, belly rises, base of trunk, go in that lift on the ground floor, close the door, draw it in, draw up through that midline as you exhale. Try not to press down with your arms. Focus on the lower belly, relax everything else. Let it go, take another inhale, base of trunk, draw it in, draw up through that midline as you exhale. You're going to hold that. We're going to try and draw in and up a little bit more with pulses. Drawing in and up for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Let it go. So just be aware when you do those pulses, you don't start rocking the hips, you don't start squeezing the butt. So let it go, take an inhale, base of trunk, draw it in, draw up through that midline as you exhale. You're going to hold that, draw in and up for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Hold that lower belly and take an inhale. So the rib cage will expand a little bit more rather than the belly rising. You're holding your belly. So let's take another inhale and exhale. Keep holding the belly. Inhale and exhale. Keep holding, keep breathing. Take your right leg into a tabletop position. Keep your left leg as still as possible. Arms relaxed by your side. Hold that lower belly, reach that leg long across the room, and then back to tabletop. Straighten that leg to the ceiling, really straighten it out, stretch it out. Lower that straight leg down, and then lift, and then bend that leg. It'll open out to the side, and then close. And then reach that leg long across the room, and then back, up to the ceiling, and then lower, and then lift, and bend, open, and close one more and reach it out and back up to the ceiling and lower and lift and bend, open and close and rest it down. Relax the arms and shoulders. Let's do that on the left side. Take an inhale, base of trunk, draw it in, draw up through that midline as you exhale. Hold that lower belly, left leg into tabletop, keep the right leg steady. Hold that lower belly, extend that left leg long across the room and back to tabletop. Straighten that leg to the ceiling. Keep that leg straight as you lower that leg down with control and then lift and then bend, open and close. And reach that leg long across the room and back up to the ceiling. Stretch it out. Lower and lift and bend, open, close. Last one. Reach it out and back up to the ceiling and lower and lift, bend, open, close and rest it down. Have a little relax, rock from side to side. Feet planted down, take an inhale, exhale, draw up through that midline. Hold that lower belly. Now without pressing down with your arms, lift up that right leg. Holding that lower belly, lift up the left leg as well. Hold the belly, lower the right leg, lower the left leg, lift the right, lift the left, lower the right, lift the right, lift the left. Let's do 4 more. Lower, lower, and lift, lift, lower, lower, and lift, lift. Now hold that tabletop position. Relax the arms if they've started to tense. Hold the belly. Keep breathing and extend that right leg long. Really stretch it out across the room and bring it back. And left leg, stretch it out and bring it back. And right leg, stretch it out and back. And left leg, stretch it out and back and out and in and out and in and out and in. Now, if that's feeling comfortable, to challenge a little bit more, lift the arms up to the ceiling. Out and in and out and in. Let's do 4 more. And 4 and 3 and 2 and then 1. And then rest the hands and feet down. Have a little rock from side to side. If through any of these, guys, you need a break, you feel tension in your lower back or in the front of your hips, the hip flexors start to tighten, feel free to stop, just rock around and start again when you're ready. So arms still by your side. Take an inhale, belly rises, base of trunk, draw it in, draw up through that midline. Hold the lower belly. Right leg into tabletop. Left leg into tabletop. Squeeze the legs together. We're doing double toe taps. So a little lower and lift. So be guided by how that lower back feels, how far you drop down. So it doesn't have to be a big movement. It can be just a small lower and lift, or you can go further down, even tapping the floor. But be guided by your lower back and just be conscious when you lower and lift that you're not arching your lower back and your thighs are dropping away. You're not just flexing at the knees, the thighs are dropping away. So basically we're challenging the strength of that lower belly by dropping the weight lower, and that lower belly has to hold. And lower and lift, and lower and lift, and lower and lift, and lower and lift, and lower and lift. Let's do 5 more. And 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Take 1, then both feet down, little rest, rock from side to side. Resting the arms by your side. Take another inhale, base or trunk, draw in, draw up through that midline as you exhale. Right leg into tabletop, left leg into tabletop. Rest the arms by your side. You're going to extend the right leg across the room towards the edge of your mat and the left leg up to the ceiling. Hold that, stretch it, and then back to tabletop. Swap sides, hold, lengthen it long and back. So focus on the hold of the belly and back. It's as though this movement is starting and finishing at your lower belly. So we're stretching the legs, but it's all challenging that strength of that lower belly. Reach it long and back and out and in and out and in, out and hold it out. 4 scissor. 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to tabletop. We're just going to repeat that. So L, 1 across the room, 1 to the ceiling, and back, across the room, and back. Just 2 more. Across the room, and back, across the room and hold, and scissor. 4, 3, 2, 1, and back to tabletop. Rest the feet down, have a little rest, rock from side to side. So 1 more here, arms are by your side. Take an inhale, base of trunk, draw it in, draw up through that midline. Right leg into tabletop. Left leg into tabletop, arms are by your side. Straighten both legs to the ceiling. Feel that stretch at the back of the legs. Little lower and lift of both legs, and then lower the right leg down towards the floor and back, and left leg down and back to tabletop. And both legs to the ceiling. Hold them together, lower both legs, and then lift. Lower the right leg down and back. Lower the left leg down and back to tabletop. and both legs to the ceiling. And then lower and lift, lower the right leg down and back, left leg down and back to tabletop. We've got 3 more, hang in there, both legs to the ceiling and lower and lift, lower the right leg down and back, left leg down and back to tabletop, to the ceiling and lower and lift, lower the right leg down and back, left leg down and back to tabletop. Last one, to the ceiling, lower and lift, lower the right leg down and back, left leg down and back to tabletop, and rest the feet down. So rest the arms by your side, do a little rock from side to side just to release any tension. I now just want to release any tension you might have created in the front of the hips and fire your butt. So your hands are by your side, press your feet down onto the mat. So tuck the pelvis under, squeeze your butt and coming up into a bridge. And then control it back down, articulate the spine as you go back down. So tuck the pelvis under, press the lower back down, squeeze the butt to come up. That's it. And then all the way back down. Tuck the pelvis under, squeeze the butt to come up. And then all the way back down. Tuck the pelvis under, squeeze the butt to come up. And then all the way down. And then lift, control the lower. Try to keep the hips stable, not rocking from side to side. Let's do 4 more. And 4. And 3. And 2. Last one, stay there. You're going to lower the hips a little bit and then lift. And then you're going to open your legs out to the side, both legs out to the sides, and then close. And then lower the hips a little bit and then lift. And then open and close. And lower and lift and open and close. Now, if that feels good, lift your arms up to the ceiling. If you're feeling tension on the back of your legs, keep your arms down. And lower and lift and open and close. And lower and lift and open and close. And lower and lift, open and close. 3 more. Lower and lift, open and close. Lower and lift, open and close. Last one. Lower and lift, open and close, and back down. Well done. Little rock from side to side. Keep your arms rested down for this last one. So arms rested down, pressing the feet down, squeeze your butt, tuck the pelvis under and coming up. And then you're going to straighten your right leg and then bend it back down. Straighten your left leg and back down. So our goal here is not to keep dropping the hips each time you lengthen the leg. Keep the hips stable, reach one leg out and back. Other leg out and back. And out and in, and out and in, and out and in. Hang in there, out and in. 4 more, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Excellent job, guys. Coming down, rock from side to side. And now you're going to lie on your side facing your phone or your camera. So lying on your side, use your hand as a pillow or pop a pillow under your head. Bend your legs so that your heels are in line with your hips, in line with your shoulders. You want that little space under your waist. So keeping the ankles together, and we're going to lift up that top leg and lower. So it's all about control and stability here. So when you lift up that top leg, try not to let that top hip roll back or even roll forward. Mainly it'll want to roll back. Keep 2 hips stacked. So 2 hips in line with each other, lift and lower that top leg. If you're not starting to feel some tension in that top of the hip, perhaps even press your hand, poke your fingers into that area. That will help that muscle to fire.
So it's trying to strengthen the muscles to help stabilize the pelvis. So when you do those exercises to stabilize the pelvis, keep your pelvis as stable as possible. And lift and lower. So in your mind, see this muscle contracting, squeezing, and that helps your leg to lift up. Lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower. And let's go for 5, and 4, and 3, and 2. You're going to hold that up there, and we're going to pulse that up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and rest it down. Give it a little rub. Check your position again, that you haven't collapsed that bottom waist. If necessary, take your hand on your top hip and press it down towards your ankles. So we're going to now, similar exercise, but you lift your whole leg up, lead with your knee. So your ankles are separating, but your knee is still slightly higher. And then lift and lower, and lift and lower, lift and lower, and lift and lower. Great job, guys. And lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower. Let's do 5 more. 5, and 4, 3, and 2. Hold it up there. 10 pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent, guys. Just lengthen your legs, squeeze your butt, give it a tap. Now bend that legs again and lift the top leg to a tabletop position, so 90 degrees. Keep it up at hip height. Think of your bicycle with your leg and strap on the reformer. Straighten that leg in front of you. Keep it straight. Squeeze the butt to sweep it back. And then bend and straighten. Squeeze to sweep it back. And bend and straighten. Squeeze to sweep it back. And keep it up at hip height. Hang in there, guys. Squeeze to sweep it back. And bend and straighten. Squeeze to sweep it back. And bend and straighten. Squeeze to sweep it back. We're going to do 5 more. And 5. Sweep it back. Bend and straighten. Sweep it back. 4. Keep that hip up there. Keep the knee high. 3. Squeeze the butt. 2. Sweep it back, hold it there, heel to the ceiling, toe to the floor, not dropping all the way, just head the toe towards the floor, pulse it up for 10, 9, 8, 7, leg long, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done, guys. Lengthen both legs, squeeze your butt. Have a little rest for a moment. We've got 1 more here. So keeping both legs long now, you really, the focus here is on the lengthening of the legs. So lengthen that top leg and little lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, lift and lower. Now lift and hold it up there. Keep that top leg still. Draw the bottom leg up towards the top head. Beautiful. Lift. Lower for 5 and 4. Good. 3 and 2 and 1. Drop it down. Little rest. We're going to repeat that little set 1 more time. So lift up that top leg and lower. And lift and lower. And lift and lower. And lift and lower. Lift and hold it up there. Draw the bottom leg towards the top leg. Let's go for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and rest. Well done, guys. Give that butt a little rub. Just come over onto all 4s. Let's just do a cat stretch. So tuck the pelvis under, drop the head, lift through the thoracic spine, looking through your legs.
And then lifting the head, dropping the thoracic spine. And one more, tuck the pelvis under. And then back to a neutral position. We're going to roll over the other side on your mat, facing the other way, doing the other side. So head at the other end of your mat. Resting your head either under your hand or a pillow. So legs are bent, feet in line with hips. Fantastic, you have a band there, that's wonderful. Okay, keep that space under your waist, keep the ankles together. Just make sure your ankles are in line with your hips. Okay, keeping those ankles together, let's lift up that top leg and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift. Make it controlled. When you lower, don't just drop it, control it. Lift and lower. Lift and lower, and lift and lower. And let's go for 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and hold it up there, 10 pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and drop that leg. Give that a little rub. Now we similar move, but we separate the ankles. Make sure you lead with your knee and your space still under your waist. So let's lift up that top leg and lower, and lift and lower. Good. Lift and lower. If necessary, poke your hand into that top hip there to get that muscle to fire. And lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower. And let's go for 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and hold it up there, 10 pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower it down. Give that a little rub. Good job. Bend that top leg to a tabletop position, so 90 degrees, hip height. Straighten that leg in front of you. Then squeeze the butt, sweep it back. And bend and straighten and squeeze the butt to sweep it back. And bend and straighten, squeeze to sweep it back. And bend. So when you're moving like a limb, we're moving our leg. Think, what part of the trunk are we stabilizing and strengthening to create a good movement? So it's your pelvis, your butt. So think about the stability of your pelvis as you're moving the leg and the squeezing of your butt. And sweep it back. And bend and straighten and sweep it back. And bend and straighten, sweep it back. 5 more, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2. Last one, you're going to keep it long. Heel to the ceiling, toe to the floor. Little pulses up. Pulse. So legs in line with the body. That's it. Pulse it up. Pulse it up. Try to keep the hips stable even when you're pulsing. Pulse it up and pulse it up and pulse it up. Let's go for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Well done. Extend both legs long. Squeeze your butt just to release any tension there. Keeping both legs long now. Think about the lengthening of the leg, really squeezing and lengthening the leg. Let's lift up that top leg and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower. Now lift and hold it up there. Hold that belly, bring up the bottom leg towards the top leg for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Back down, have a little rest. We're going to do that one more time. So lengthen both legs
We're going to lift up that top leg and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and hold it up there. Bottom leg to the top leg. Imagine you're squeezing a circle between your inner thighs. Lift, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and back down and giving that a rub. Fantastic job, guys. We're going to turn around over onto all fours again. Just sit back into a child's pose just to stretch that out. And then coming up, taking hold of your weights or your little cans and kneeling facing your camera. Now, if kneeling hurts your knees, you're welcome to sit on your chair or stand, whichever feels most comfortable for you. But if kneeling is fine, start in a kneeling position. So you're holding your hand weights or your cans. Your arms are long. So let's just do a little lift of the shoulders and drop them. Now try to keep that drop shoulder position rather than tensing and lifting up the upper shoulders. Top of your shoulders. Arms are long by your side. And we're going to, palms are facing in, lift the arms up, stop just below the top of your shoulders, so chest height, and lower. And then lift. So when you lower, I'd want to see that controlled. I don't want you just to drop it and let gravity do the work. Resist the lowering as well as lifting. And lift and lower. Long arms, lengthen the arms. Try squeeze the muscles. Make this work. Lift and lower. It's not passive. You're really lengthening and squeezing. And lift and lower. And lift and lower. And lift and lower, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and hold it up there. Now open the arms out the side, squeeze between the shoulder blades, opening up the front of the shoulders, and bring it back to the start position, stopping just in front of your shoulders. And open, and close, and open, and close. Long arms, don't start to let them hang. Long and close. And open and close. And open and close. And open and close. Hold through the belly. 5 and 4 and 3 and 2. Hang in there. And 1. Have a little rest. I see just need a little rest for a moment. Just drop the arms for the moment. Shake it out. Lift the arms back up to the sides. Now lift them up a little, tap up to the ceiling and then lower. Little lift up and tap and lower. 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 5 more long arms. 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Well done. And drop your arms. So if you tilt your camera just back a little bit, you might get the upper vision a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. We're going to combine. There, that's it. Great. We're going to combine those movements now into a pattern. Keep it flowing. So if you find the weights too much at any time, feel free to drop them and just do it without the little weights. Just get your arms moving, but keep them long and strong. So lift them up, open out to the side, lift them up, little tap together, and open, bring them back in, and lower. And lift, open out to the side, keep them out to the side as you lift them up to the ceiling, and lower back to shoulder height, bring them back to the middle and lower. Hold through the belly and lift, open and tap, open, back together and lower and lift and open and tap and open in front of you and back down. 4 more sets. Lift, open, tap, open, together and lower
and lift, nearly there, open, tap, open, together, and lower. 2 more. And lift, open, together, open, together, and lower. Last one. And lift, open, together, open, together, and lower. Fantastic job, guys. Just drop that weight. Link your hands behind your back and press your hands down. And lift them up. So press down and lift and squeezing the front. So opening up the front of the shoulders, squeezing between your shoulder blades. Hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Shake your arms by your side. Just come side on to the camera, guys. So facing towards the front of your mat rather than just face front on towards the camera. Come towards your side like I am. Fantastic. So up in that kneeling position again, take your arms in front of your chest. So we're going to hinge back. So with the hinge, we're stretching out the front of the hips. You're really firing your butt and the front of your legs to move. Okay, so try not to bend at the hips. So shoulders back and down. It's a small movement. Some people have a bigger movement. Some people a very small movement. Don't worry if it's a small movement. So hinging back, and then it's your squeeze of your butt and the contraction of those muscles on the front of your legs that pulls you forward. And then back, and squeeze the butt to come forward. And then back, squeeze the butt to come forward. And then back, and then coming forward, and then back, and then coming forward. 4 more. 4, and 3, and 2. Squeeze to come forward. And then 1 now, stay there. You're going to open your arms out the side and bring them back in for 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Well done. Now pop your hands down on the mat. That was a prep actually for a plank. So you're going to pop your hands under your shoulders. Your knees a little bit behind your hips, curl your toes under. So think of the muscles you've just used and also stretch. So we're going to squeeze your butt, lengthen your legs, and holding between the shoulder blades, strong arms. So take an inhale, exhale, draw up through your midline. We're just going to hold the plank for 10 seconds. So coming up, squeezing the butt, lifting, hold that plank for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And come back down, sit back into a child's pose. So we're going to do that series again, and I want you to think about the muscles you're using for your hinge and also the muscles you're stretching, and apply that when you do your plank. So come back kneeling again, hands in front of the chest. So in that position, when we lean back this time, we're actually going to lift our arms up to the ceiling. It's just as best you can. Some of you may have tight shoulders, just lift as far as you can. And then back down, bring the arms forward. And hinge back as you lift your arms up. As you hinge forward, bring your arms back down. Remember, the movement is coming from the contraction of the muscles in the front of your legs, the squeezing of your butt. And hinge back and coming forward. And hinging back and coming forward. And hinging back and coming forward. We're going to do 4 more. And 4, squeeze to come forward. And 3, and coming forward. And 2, and 1. Just hold that up there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the arms, come forward. Come ready for your plank. Just 10 seconds. Think of those muscles you've just used. Use them now. So squeezing your butt, shoulders back and down. Knees slightly behind your hips, curl your toes under. Remember, straight spine, head in line with the spine. Try not to drop your head. Let's go and hold that for 10, 9, 8, 7,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Bend the knees, sit back on your heels. Just stretch that out. Have a little rest. Now curl your toes under. Take your hands back towards your knees. Pressing down with your hands, roll back onto the ball of your foot and coming up to a standing position. That's just a good way to stand if you have a few knee issues. Okay, you're going to come now and stand facing your chair. Just you putting your hand on the back of the chair for a little bit of support. Facing your chair and your feet are hip distance apart. So I want you just to have light weight supporting yourself on the chair. This is balanced, but it's also, I want you to get the range. So I prefer you to have a hold of the chair to try and get a bit more lift of your articulation through your feet here, rather than doing it without supporting yourself. So lightweight, pressing down, holding onto that chair, and you're going to lift up on the balls of the feet, lifting the heels. Work into this, particularly if you've got fairly stiff feet. Work into it, but it is very important, particularly as we get older, to keep that articulation through our feet. One of the biggest causes of tripping and falling as we get older is that we lose that mobility in our feet. And lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower. Long, strong legs. Look straight ahead. Make yourself tall. Lift up. Don't lean forward. Try to lift up. Lift and lower and lift and lower. And let's go for 4 and 3 and 2. Work the feet and 1. Now stepping back from your chair just a little bit so you've got room to move. We're going to go straight into a squat. So with your squat, keep your feet hip distance apart, lead with your hips. So sit back and then tall and lower and lift. So with your squat, main things I think, lead with your hips and your knees tracking out over your smaller toes. Don't knock your knees. And lower and lift. And lower and lift. And lower and lift. Good job. Lower and lift and lower and lift. Let's do 5 more. 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Well done. Step back a little bit closer to your chair again, resting your hand lightly on the chair to support yourself, feet hip distance apart. Pressing down on the balls of the feet, lift the heels, lift and lower. Remember, think tall, lift and lower rather than slightly forward, and lift and lower 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 and lift and lower. Let's go for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Step back again, back into your squats. This is a warm up for our next exercise. And lower and lift and lower and lift and lower and lift and lower and lift, lower and lift. Let's go for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Well done, guys. Now I want you to take your chair and have your chair facing towards the mat, facing towards the camera like this one is here, so I can sit down on the chair. Pick up your weights and stand in front of your chair. Okay, so we're going to just continue some squats, but this final exercise is to give you a bit more of the concept of the movement of a squat, leading with your hips, okay, and the challenge of the weights. So take the weights in your hands
Palms are facing forward, elbows slightly out to the side, just below the height of your shoulders, about chin height. Your feet are hip distance apart. Now you're going to go back into a squat and just tap your backside on the chair, just a little lower as you lift your arms and lift. So don't put your weight down, just a little tap. If you can't reach the chair, that's fine. But as best you can, try to just do a little tap on the chair as you lift your arms. And then lift the arms as you go down, bend the arms back to the start position as you come up. And lift and lower. Again, check those knees that they're not knocking, tracking out over your little toes. And lift and lower. Lift the arms up as you lower down. Little tap on the chair. Good job. And lift. So this makes you lead with your hips because you're hinging back with your hips rather than just putting all the load through your knees. And lower and lift. Lower and lift. And let's go for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Excellent job, guys. Pop those weights down now. Standing in the middle of your mat, hands are on your hips. Feet hip distance apart. You're going to go out to a side lunge. So going out, keeping one leg straight. Let's go out to the right, bending that right knee out, left leg straight, and then back in. And then take it out, hold it for a second, stretch, and then back in. And then out, and then back in. And out, and back in, and out, and back in. We're going to go the other side. And out, and back in. And out, and back in. We'll hold it for a moment to stretch out, and back in, and out. Now we're going to go back to the first side, one each side. So out with the right, and back in. Out with the left, and back in. Out with the right, and back in. Out with the left, and back in. One more each side. Out, and in, and out. This time we're just going to hold it. So out and hold it. Lean forward. Place your hands on that bent knee. Leaning a little bit further forward to increase the stretch on the extended leg. Hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in. Extend the opposite leg. Out. Hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in. Bring your feet together. Bend forward. Lean forward, with the upper body. Bend your right leg. Weight on that, hands on the right leg, stretching out the left leg. Hold that for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And then back, other side. Lean forward, stretching out the opposite leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press your hands together in front of the chest. Take an inhale and exhale, hands long by your side and then by your back. Link them together. Press down and lift. Hold that for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and shake it out. Good job, guys. You did it. Well done.